All right, welcome everyone. I hope you're doing well. This is going to be an interesting topic. I'm excited to do this presentation. I have, I'm trying to ramp up on this idea of doing slide decks, doing presentations, putting my face out to the community. So this one I put a little bit more notes in it, and I came to a realization near the end, and we'll talk about it once we get there. But I really want to start tying these back into the topic of game design. So this week we're talking about town halls, but I think starting next week I am actually going to start doing deep dive conversations into different aspects of game design. And I really want this stream to be all about what it's like designing a collectible card game. Why is it different than designing other games? Thank you, Alex, for letting me know that sounds good. I don't know if it's actually Alex or Colette who's watching, but either or, thank you so much for letting me know that this sounds good. And if you want me to lower the background music, let me know. So, designing a collectible card game, there's a lot of elements about it that have been very different than I would have expected. And my journey, I spent a lot of time learning about designing board games because that was the material that was out there. There were so many podcasts, so many groups about designing board games, but designing a hobby game, there isn't as much out there. There isn't as much material. So I thought it would be nice, I think, starting next week. And I'm going to tie a little bit about this into that topic, but let's move this towards the conversation of what it's like designing a hobby game and just putting my opinions, my thoughts out there and getting your feedback on it. So if this is something you're interested in, let me know and I will pursue it further. And I'm going to try pushing out this content a little bit more as we go. All right, let's jump into this. Before we jump into it, I have to give my shout out. So huge shout out to our Patreon supporters, Andrew, Gunther, Hill, Steven, Stevo, and Will. Thank you so much for all your support. I put up both versions of dedicated studies there. So on the right side, you'll see that is the beta dedicated studies that you get in the boost pack. The promo dedicated study on the left hand side, so you can see how the template and everything kind of changes for that. And that's what you're going to be getting for March if you sign up. I think, this weekend is the last time you can sign up and be part of that Patreon package. And then make sure you join us on Patreon at patreon.com/GenesisBOC. Then we have Future Leaguers. So thank you to all our Future Leaguers for supporting us and doing so much amazing work in that channel. Thank you to Alex for all your great support for leading that community. I just couldn't do this without you guys. So guys and girls and everyone who supports us on a regular basis. So Future League, we're going to be on Tabletop Simulator tonight at 7 p.m. Bring your decks, bring your ideas, and bring your conversations that you want to debate about. Make sure you join the Discord. Now that link is for the general Discord server. I'll make sure that this is available to everyone. But if you are interested in being part of the Future League Discord server, just send me a message. You're watching us right now. Leave a message in the chat, and I'll make sure I get back to you with the link for that. The next Future League tournament is happening on March 20th. There is a regular tournament that's happening on the 6th, and I'll talk about that later. But you can sign up going to tabletop.to. And then the next town hall happening on the 1st, which is funny. We're going to be talking about the town halls. Also, you can see Malfeasance will be coming out soon. Primordial Force. All Future Leaguers will get both of these. And this is the proper Malfeasance with that cast ability right there. For everyone who participated in the Future League tournament, you'll be getting your Misprinted Malfeasance soon enough. All right, upcoming tournaments. Standard tournament happening on the 6th and Future League tournament happening on the 20th. So excited if you want to sign up. Last tournament, we did give away a foil Erica. So where are they? Will ended up winning himself the foil Erica promo, which looks super classy there. And then Steven ended up winning himself the signed Gelda Baboon. So signed by Camilla. And then I signed it myself and put the Future League date, so the day of the tournament, onto it. I know that it looks a little ugly. My handwriting is not the greatest, but it makes it unique. The leaderboard of the current tournament. So this is just everyone standing. I just thought I'd share this because we are doing the leaderboard for this quarter, which will wrap up at the end of March. So if you want to get your name on the list, make sure you come in to participate in our upcoming tournaments. All right, let's jump into our topic. Town halls. Why are we creating town halls? Why are we even doing this process? The big goal here is we wanted to connect with players. We're trying to find all the different tools and experiment with all the different approaches on connecting our team at Haunted Castle Gaming with everyone who touches this product. So not just the players, but the stores, the distributors, everyone that's... I'll get to your question in a second, Jason. I will tell you about the story about the Misprinted Malfeasance in a little bit. We wanted to find a way to connect with everyone across the supply chain, and we wanted to try different ways of doing it. So town halls was just one approach of creating a two-way conversation between us and the players. A lot of time communication is pushed downwards. We tell, the distributors, this is what you need to say. We tell the stores, this is what you need to do. But we want to also get that feedback back to us. We want to know what's working and what's not working, and how do we grow as a team, as a company. So town halls, I thought, would be a really great way to have an open forum conversation where we may be leading certain parts of it, but we also ask the community who joins the town hall to tell us what they want to talk about, what's working, what's not working, and what they want us to be discussing in future town halls. So that was the initial goal. What is a town hall? The idea of town hall, actually my first town hall I ever went to, I was working for a company called The Working Group. They're located in downtown Toronto. They're a consulting firm where they build products and websites for for their clients. So I got to work on projects that were from everything from like the grocery delivery system to a poker tabletop game. There was the hockey league, the Tim Hortons Hockey League website that I worked on. There was one that was in the education space. I got to do a lot of different projects, which was really cool. So when we did the town hall, you can imagine this company of about 60 people, and each team of only two, at the minimum, just one person. So from 1 to 5 people are working on a given project. Everyone's scattered and doing different things and talking about different things. And then you come together in one communal space and you talk about the company as a whole. Normally, the town halls are really boring. They're kind of a top-down conversation of this is what's happening in the future. This is what we're doing next. These are the decisions we made, yada, yada, yada. But there's a part of it that I really loved, which was the other side of the conversation. The community being like, all right, how do we... this is where we can ask questions. This is where we can tell you our opinion of where you're taking our company, where you're taking this workspace. Because if you work for a company... and you're there all the time. And you want to have a say of the place you work at. You don't want to just be another cog in the machine. You want to be part of the conversation. And I think this is an important thing for town halls. It allows the players to be part of the conversation of what we're doing behind the curtain. And that, I felt that was a very important thing from the town hall. So I wanted to scrap the rest of it, where we talk down. I think this is a little bit me more just talking to the community compared to having a conversation. But I will get to the chats in a little bit and address some of the questions that come in. So feel free to continue to put questions in, but I have a section for Q&A a little bit later on. So what a town hall is usually is a lot of that conversation and then the question part of it. And I really wanted to focus on that dialogue, the two-way street of it. So how our town hall started with this idea of having two-way conversation, but in the past little while, it's been shifting. We've been focusing more on conversations around Future League. We have been talking about the future of the game, but something that's started recently that has been really, really interesting for me is talking about the future... the player insight conversations. So going back to Future League, we talk about the pros and cons. We talk about what's working, what's not working. I think that's a very minor part of the conversation because we talk about Future League stuff all the time. If you're part of that Discord server, you know the conversations are happening on a regular basis. And I am listening. I know Alex is listening. The other game designers are listening. And we're debating these things. And we are trying to come to an organic solution to a lot of these things. So the town halls aren't really like, we will have the conversations in the town hall, but it's not the only place to have the conversations about Future League. We talked about the future of the game, what is a healthy version of the future Genesis look like? Does something like Epiphany, is that really so bad that we need to ban it? Does it hurt the future development of the game, or does it create stability? These type of conversations are really great, but I found that people weren't super engaged in these conversations, and also we ran out of topics really quickly. But the one part where the town halls have been super important for me is this probing back and forth kind of question state. And that's been really cool. So the type of questions we've been asking are like, what makes a champion fun? What is an element about the champions that you find really enjoyable? And if you're watching right now, let me know. What do you think what makes a champion enjoyable to you? Is it the artwork? Is that the thing that really strikes you? Is it the backstory? Is that something you resonate with? Is it the mechanics, the ability of the champion? Are you playing Idris because you like the way the artwork shows her as a very powerful, the other side, very powerful fire mage? Or is it her backstory of losing her child and you resonate with this idea of loss and being accused or blaming yourself for it? I know I definitely do in a lot of ways. I still carry a lot of guilt for some of the loss I've had in my life. And that's what resonates me with Idris and why I enjoy playing with her. Or is it the mechanic of being able to hit someone on the other side of the board with your fireball and feeling in control of the playstyle? So being able to ask these probing questions of people who come to the town hall and have this dialogue has been really essential. The other thing we've been asking are kind of more design questions. How do you feel about the mechanics? How do you feel about an HE card that draws you 3 cards, right? Those type of questions lead us down different paths, and it tells us what our players are looking for in the game. How do we create something that the players are really enjoying? So town halls have been really, really useful in creating more of an organic space on what we do, what we will do moving forward, how the future of the game kind of looks and develops and is designed. So I hope you get a good sense of what we're trying to do with town halls and how we're shifting towards them. So the feedback loop in game design. I wanted to tie this topic back to my lessons learned in game design. And not just game design, but design as a whole. I don't have a background in design. I did not go to university for that. I did not go to... I don't have a lot of information on like how the design process works. But I was mentored by a lot of great people. And my time at TWG was really great because I got to learn from so many people about, and different designers, about things that work, things that don't, and how you approach that. My time working at Think Research, I also got this opportunity to sit down with a lot of the design team and talk to them about their process and their thoughts that go into every decision. Because artistically, things are subjective. Like, you may look at this artwork for Boltshot and be like, this is amazing. Someone else may look at it and say that this is terrible. It's subjective at the end of the day. I love it. And Leslie, if you're watching this, know that I love your artwork. But at the end of the day, that stuff is subjective. But there are certain parts of design which are completely objective and you need to focus on. But you don't have the answers to everything. If you are not engaging your customers, your players, your community in what they like and what they don't like, you're only hearing one end of the conversation. You get this tunnel vision and you're only looking at things from one perspective. So we always want to hear from the players because that's how we make a game that's for the players. We don't assume we know what's best. We assume that we actually know what's worst, and we listen to what the players say and we hear from them and we take our assumptions and we validate them from the conversations that we have in town halls. And that's how design should work. It should be this idea that I, as the designer, am the blank slate. I have some ideas that might work one way or another. But until I test them, until I ask someone, until I get feedback from the actual person who's putting money on the table to buy this product, I do not know what is the best approach. And I want them to tell me what's the best approach. The other part about hearing from the community is we're now held accountable. If the community tells us that one idea is terrible and we should never do it, but we do it anyways, well then that's on us. That was our mistake. But is it, how does that tie into things? Actually, I'll be getting to that in a few seconds, but the other part of it is the town halls give us an opportunity to include everyone. One of the things people feel, especially as a product grows and grows and grows, is that you have to be a veteran member of this community, of this product, to get feedback back to the top tier. If I take a product like Apple, for example, if you have an iPhone and you have a problem with it and you're just a regular consumer, how do you feel about getting your feedback up to the top tier? It may be possible, it may not. I don't know Apple's process, but I just picked them because they're one of those larger companies out there. That conversation is really tense at times. I know for a lot of companies I worked with, I was the tester. I was in the QA space. And one of the things I actually advocated for a lot was making it that every single person had a voice. Every single one of our customers had a voice. And this was very powerful because at first, they're going to talk about very minor things that they may find a little annoying. But the moment they realize that we're listening to them, they start talking about the bigger things. And then we get into the real issues, the deep-seated issues. And that's where we can actually make a difference in our design and make a quality product because we're truly listening to every single person. So town halls give us an opportunity to include everyone. If you come into a town hall, this is your first one, you may feel a little shy coming in. And we will pick on you sometimes and be like, hey, we haven't heard from you yet. Why don't you say something? But the idea of having it as an open forum, you can just come there, be a fly on the wall and listen. But when you want to talk about something, you have the opportunity to bring it up. And even if you can't bring it up vocally, you can still just leave a message or send an email or let us know that you want to talk about this. And we can make it anonymous. But we want to be able to include everyone, from someone who just started the game to someone who's been playing since the very beginning. So someone who has only bought a starter kit to someone who's spent a lot to compete, right? Everyone should be included in the conversation in the town halls. So how does this apply to game design? Well, I always talked about listening and why the design process is very important. But I also touched on this idea that if you tell us that something's wrong and we go forward with it anyway, then the onus is on us. But at the end of the day, we still have to accept the fact that this is still my game. I still want to design the game in my particular way. And maybe it doesn't align to your vision. But but there has to be a trust back and forth that we are designing a game that is good from the game designer's perspective, and also incorporates all the thoughts and opinions from our community's perspective. So having that back and forth conversation is going to be good. Every opinion you give may, some of them may be addressed immediately, and other ones, there may be a little bit of time to address it and have that back and forth. But the other thing is, it also gives us an opportunity to figure out how many people find a particular issue a concern. So we may put something out there, and if only one person brings it up and it's like, yeah, I think that this is a problem, we might take that with a grain of salt. But once 50% of the future leaguers or 50% of the people who come to the town hall are in agreement, or more than 50%, then we now know that this is something we've overlooked. And we may be on the wrong side of the conversation. This gives us some analytics. And that's very important. The design process is carried in equal parts with subjective ideas, but there's objective analytics that you can work with. My last thing that I think about is, will this scale? At the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know if this will scale. Will we be able to maintain town halls when we have hundreds of people attend them, thousands of people attend them? Probably not. And that's fair. Will we have to break it into different categories? We may have to do that. But the fear of it failing isn't an excuse for not trying. We have to try something. We have to see what works and what doesn't. And if it doesn't scale, we try something new. We come up with a new idea. And you know who we're going to ask? We're going to ask you. We're going to ask the people who are part of the town hall, what's the next step? What do you think we should be trying? We'll try different ideas. And we will find something that does work, because I don't think that the conversation ends here. I don't think that we will hit a dead wall and all of a sudden we can't communicate to our community, and we start putting up these walls between every single layer, and it's super hard for you, the audience, to get a hold of me or anyone else on the game design team. I don't think that that's the future of the company. I don't think that's the future of this industry. I think the industry as a whole, or every industry as a whole, should be changing towards being transparent, opening up the communication ways the for the consumers and for the players and for your audience and for the people who you're making this product for to give their opinion to you. Because that's how you show respect, right? That's how you show that there's a back and forth communication and that your opinion does matter. Because I think it's rude to try to push out a product and say, I don't care what your opinion is, you have to buy this. No, that's not respectful. That's not the way to make an ethical product. You have to have a back and forth communication. But that being said, at the end of the day, we're still going to make controversial decisions. And some of those are just because that's just the way we want the game to move towards. Maybe we will create a vampire who has Bellum and Chaos as their affiliations, and it may not make sense. But it's for a reason. And we're going to try our best to make sure that every decision we make is for a reason. All right. I'm going to open it up to some Q&A for a little bit here. As I go through that, if you have any questions, leave them in here. I'm going to address some of the things I've seen in the comments. So Jason puts out of curiosity, what's the story behind the misprinted Malfeasance card? Was the name misprinted or something else? Do I have it on me? I don't have it on me. So the misprint, what happened was, instead of the ability saying cast, it said beckon. So it's the exact same card. It just says beckon instead of cast. It's a very, very minor misprint. And at first I was planning to just kind of discard those misprints and throw them into the vault and like never touch them again. But some people really wanted them. And I was like, all right, if you really want them, I'm going to give you an exclusive way of trying to get a hold of them. And that's where the tournament kind of came about, was this idea of, this is a good place for me to kind of put those forward. I'm going to do that. All right. Questions for later stream. The announcement of a European distributor is very cool. Congratulations. Thank you. I'm very excited about that. I'm curious how that came about. Has there been a growing interest in the game already from the other side of the pond? Did the distributor approach you because they were excited, or is it just the right time to start expanding worldwide? Yep, that's something I can address later. Very briefly, I'll make mention. We made an amazing partnership, and I announced this a few weeks ago, with a company called Hit Point Sales. Hit Point Sales is has been very very helpful in trying to help get us to expand to different areas and create networks and introduce us to people who we may never have had the opportunity to introduce. So basically, we created the right partnership at the right time with the right people who had faith in us, and they want to see us grow and succeed. And because of that, they were able to open the doors in other avenues. I think distribution is going to be a very interesting conversation, and I think in the game design spectrum of things, I would definitely have a lot to talk about that. But I want to talk about it more once I have more experience with it. Distribution, it's been a journey from first distributing in person, going store to store with product in my trunk and dropping it off in person, to the first time I ever had to ship product, which was to BD Cosmos, and then again up to North of Exile. That was the first time I had to ship product, and all of a sudden I was scared and nervous, and it was a great experience because it gave me the confidence to push forward. And now we're taking the next big journey where we're no longer just shipping a box or 2 boxes of product, but we're going to have to ship some pallets. And that's a really, really big change for us. And who knows what the next step is. So I think the distribution conversation is really cool, and I'd love to continue that. So I will earmark that for a future stream. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know, and I will do my best to put them into either a future stream or answer them in another Q&A session. All right, just some closing remarks. Akasha Codex, Chapter 8, Mythical Protection. is going to be coming out on March 8th. I'm really excited about this chapter. It is up there with one of my favorite story arcs that happens in the Genesis universe. Uh, so I hope you're really excited. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but if you know that artwork, you already know who we're talking about. So it's a really cool conversation. And actually, so the thing was, I wrote this, and then Carl came and rewrote it, and I read his revised version, and it actually brought a tear to my eye. So it was really well done, and I'm really excited about that. Exploring the Library with Alex. That's happening on the 7th. No, on Tuesday at 7 p.m. So something really cool that's happening. Alex is actually hosting a D&D session this Saturday using, I think, 5th edition rules, and he can correct me there. But it's using the lore of Genesis. And I'm really excited because this is my first time participating in a D&D RPG campaign. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm pumped for that. And I've already promised to be more of a backseat, a passenger, and let Alex lead it because I think it'd be really annoying if I came in there and overcorrected things. So I'm not going to do that. I promise I won't do that. And we'll be streaming that. I'll be streaming it from my end. And then so you can follow us on the Genesis website everywhere to watch the game go on. And then we'll be talking about it in our Exploring the Library episode Tuesday at 7 p.m. So come join us for that. TTS, Tabletop Simulator, TTT, tabletop.to. That's our tournament tool that we're using right now. Our next tournament is happening on March 6th. If you're interested in joining, let me know. COVID reminder. Be safe out there. Be respectful. Be respectful to every frontline worker, every person who's working retail or fast food or anywhere, everywhere. You should be respectful to everyone. Everyone's in a difficult position right now. Be it, whatever your viewpoints are politically or socially. At the end of the day, we're all still humans and we got to respect each other. If you find that you are exhibiting any symptoms or you think you are contagious in any way, please stay at home. If you are missing out on playing your favorite games, come join us on Tabletop Simulator and we'll welcome you with open arms to play Genesis with us. And the last thing is I'm looking forward to the summer. I'm hoping that by then things are a little bit more calm and we can meet in person again. So to everyone who haven't seen it in a very long time, know that I miss you. Town Hall. We just talked about town halls and how important they are. Our next one is happening on March 1st. We're having it at 6 p.m. instead of 5 p.m., giving you an extra hour after you get home from work. It's a Zoom meeting, so I'll be putting up the link soon. Expected either Saturday or Sunday on Facebook and on our website, and you can come and join that Zoom meeting. You can come in, be mute, and just listen if you want to, or you can actually be part of the conversation. But either way, I think it's a great opportunity for you to come and enjoy that space. And then the last thing is tonight, 7 p.m., around 7 p.m., we're going to be jumping on Tabletop Simulator to do some Future League testing. Depending on my mood, we'll stream that or not. If you are interested in watching it, let me know and I'll stream it. Otherwise, I may not, just because running OBS and all the streaming tools, it takes up a lot of my RAM and it slows my computer down a lot. So if you're interested, I will stream it. If not, I'm probably going to leave that as is. And that's everything for this week. Thank you for joining, and I look forward to talking to you next week. I think next week our first topic will be a conversation of the food strategy and how important it is. But no promises there. I'll let you know soon enough. That's it for this week, and we'll talk next week. Bye.